Hello and welcome students. Today I'll be teaching you sexual reproduction in flowering plants. First of all, to understand sexual reproduction in flowering plants, we need to understand the structure of a flower. Whether it is the flower of a rose, a hibiscus, a lily, there are many similarities among them, and commonly what actually is responsible for sexual reproduction that we are going to see. When we look at a flower, usually we will find a stalk, that is the part which is attached to the stem, to the branch or to the twig of a plant. Then above that we will find a cup-shaped structure. This cup-shaped structure is said to be the thalamus. That means this actually holds the whole flower. It is the base of a flower. And below it we will find certain green colored part like this, which is actually seen there, and these are called the sepals. Each one is a sepal and a whorl. That means all the sepals together are called as the calyx. The main function of calyx is to cover or to hold the young flower when it is in the bud stage, so that it is protected from the external dangers. You might have seen in many flowers that the green cover is there, and slowly when the flower blooms, these green leaf-like structures, they just spread out. And second function of them is they also perform photosynthesis as they are green in color. Then I told you the thalamus, which holds the flower. Now after this we will see that there are certain colored or sometimes maybe white also petals are present. These petals can be 5 in number, 3 in number, or many in number, depending upon whether they are trimerous, pentamerous or polymerous flowers, as you have studied in monocot and dicot. The main function of petals is to impart color and attract insects or bees or animals for pollination. A group of petals together is called the corolla. Corolla is a group of petals, or we can say the whorl of petals. Now inside this, what we see, I will draw it separately. If you look at it, you will see that there is a rounded structure and an elongated part like this, and a cup-shaped or a flat part on the top. This is called the ovary. What is present inside is the ovule, and at the top is the stigma, and this filament-like structure is the style. This whole thing, that is the ovary, style and stigma, together can be called a pistil, or the female reproductive organ, which is also known as gynoecium. This whole structure is present in the center, and at the same time from here we will find that there are certain filamentous structure that we will see here. These filaments which are present will have lobe-like structure like this, and that can be 2, 4, 8 or many in number. 5 also, 6 also, that depends from one plant to another or one flower to another. Each one of them is said to be a stamen. This part is the filament, and this part is the anther lobe. and inside the anther lobe there are small rounded structures called the anthers, or they are also called as pollen grains. Now if we place all this together, that is what is the structure of a flower. Now during the process of reproduction, what happens? During the process of reproduction, these anthers or the pollen grains, they burst open, they fall out from the anther lobe and they stick on the stigma of the pistil or the gynoecium. The stamen is also known as androecium, that is a group of stamen, or the male reproductive organ is the androecium. Now many of these pollen grains, they stick on the stigma, and the reason behind sticking on the stigma is stigma secretes a secretory sticky substance, chemotropism. And when the many pollen grains, they stick on the stigma, only two of them, the one which is the fittest or the strongest, is allowed to enter inside the ovule. That is, two pollen grains will form the tube like this. First one and then the second one. When the first one comes, it fuses with the ovule which is present inside, and when it fuses, it forms the seed. Then what happens to the second pollen grain which has formed the tube or the pollen tube, we call it as? This one comes and fuses with the polar nuclei which are two at the ends. They fuse with the polar nuclei, with the two nuclei, and since the fertilization takes place twice, it is called as double fertilization. And the reason of it fusing with two nuclei, one pollen grain fusing with the two nuclei, we also call it as triple fusion. That means three nuclei. So in short, what we learn? The transfer of pollen grains to the stigma of a flower is known as pollination. This transfer of pollen grains to the stigma can take place on the same flower. If it takes place on the same flower, it is known as self-pollination. And if the pollen grains move to the stigma of another flower, but the flower has to be of the same variety, then we call it as cross-pollination. Whether it is self or whether it is cross, in both the cases, many of the pollen grains fall on the stigma, but only two of them are allowed to enter. The first one fuses with the ovule and forms the seed, which later on gives rise to the baby plant, the embryo, the zygote. And the second one, they disintegrate to supply food to the growing embryo. Finally, after pollination, when fertilization takes place, fertilization is fusion of the pollen grains with the ovule. After this, the whole part disintegrates or falls off and only the fruit is left. Remember eating mangoes? There is one seed inside. Apples, many seeds inside. Grapes, we find few. Oranges, pomegranate, there are so many seeds. So what are those seeds? Those seeds are the parts of the ovule. Ovules are many in the number. So whatever it is, the ovary forms the fruit and the ovule forms the seed. When the seed is growing, this ovary gives food to the growing embryo or the baby plant. Now finally, when it grows, if we see in them how do they look, we will see that there a seed gives rise to two thread-like structures. The one which goes down is said to be the radicle, which finally forms the root system, and the one which goes up is called the plumule, and this forms the shoot system. That means anything above the soil is formed by the plumule, and anything below the soil is formed by the radicle.